Two tieflings, Sammy and Zuriel, are on a mission for a rare mushroom that is an ingredient for an antidote needed for Sammy's mother who was poisoned. Along their journey, they met a few adventurers just inside the Underdark. Yelvin, a kobold who was looking for his lost love Smidge, and Macklin, a variant human who was looking for his lost parents. After traveling a few more miles together, they found another group along the same path. Zagreus, a friendly drow elf, and Nezries, a Gith, who were both military veterans who said their original groups were murdered. They decided to form a Mind Flayer raiding party together. A few days later, they noticed they were being followed and were eventually interrogated by a group called the Order of the Unlit Caverns. The leader of the Order decided they were not a threat to the Order and decided to provide a guide, a deep gnome named Brock. Brock was very knowledgeable about very different mushrooms in the Underdark, and his race used different exotic fungi for food, wood, and the dangerous ones for acid dart. He explained the only place where rare purple vicious mushrooms grew were inside a dangerous fortress a few days further south, so he led the party in that direction. Finally, after a few days of walking through the cold and mist of the Underdark, the party arrives at this tower fortress. It's about 300 feet tall. You see faint glows coming from inside the fortress. Brock said this stronghold was previously called Glimmersteel Prison and was ran by a beholder named Gurzoth. But rumor has it, this place was renamed called the Palace of Whispers. Shortly after arriving, Brock starts to feel a really bad tremor and gets extremely pissed off and starts chasing after it as quickly as possible and disappears into the dense fog. Then you guys start all talking about how to infiltrate the actual palace. And you guys all decided, instead of all stealthing in all at once, that Sammy and Macklin would sneak into the entrance to check for traps and to get intel before the whole party enters. Nezries uses his telepathic speech connection so he can speak telepathically with Sammy and he can communicate to the rest of the group. Macklin then wild shapes into a little tiny cat and follows behind Sammy. Sammy and Macklin sneak in successfully, and Sammy starts to explain some of the details of the entrance. He said it's pretty dark inside, but he sees some purple and blue glowing lights coming from substances in jars. He sees big rocks, some kind of circular type of structure, a few Duergars, a human, and a green illithid mind flayer holding a book. Moments later, you immediately notice the three Duergars enlarge in size and the mind flayer disappears. The doors fly open and they start to rush the doors. They sensed your presence and knew you were coming. Roll for initiative.